As we get closer and closer to Halloween, I know we've all been binging our favorite horror classics. Maybe you're into cult classics like Scream, or maybe something a bit darker like Hereditary is more up your alley. If you're anything like me, you love it all and can't wait for the next batch of horror movies to bless your screen. Well, look no further. Spooky season has arrived, and I'm here to give you the scoop on the top 10 horror movies coming out in 2023. Coming in at number 10 is the cult classic and one of my personal faves, Scream 6. After a nearly 10-year hiatus last year, fans lost their minds when it was announced that we would receive a long-awaited addition to the franchise, and we were blessed with Scream 5. It saw a huge success, so it was no surprise at all when a direct sequel, Scream 6, was announced to be released only a year later on March 31st, 2023. This newest edition brings back some of our favorites, like the original cast member Courtney Cox as Gale Weathers, making her the only cast member to be in all 6 movies to date, though sadly, those bangs have not been in all 6 with her. Joining her is Hayden Panettiere as Kirby Reed from Scream 4, as well as the Scream 5 stars Melissa Barrera as Samantha Carpenter, the daughter of Billy Loomis, and Jenny Ortega as her half-sister Tara Carpenter. The newest addition to the cult thriller is gonna see a huge change, as the 4 survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City. Coming in at number 9 from director Tillman Singer is Cuckoo. Nothing much is known about the tight-lipped production, but seeing that it's brought to us by the same studio as Parasite, I'm sure we're in for a good ride. The film follows Gretchen, played by Euphoria star Hunter Schafer, who just moved with her family to an alpine resort after her mother's death. But soon after, she must uncover a conspiracy to save herself and her sister from a mysterious woman. The production team remains quite strict on keeping their plot under wraps, but the mystery revolving around this production only adds to the excitement. Though no hard release date has yet been set, it is slated to release in 2023, and I sure hope it's sooner rather than later. Coming in at number 8, we have yet another sequel to a classic. That's right, it's Gremlins 3. Set to release December 15th of 2023, this cult classic thriller is long awaited, and as usual, there are some rules to follow. Don't feed them after midnight, and don't get them wet. But between you and me, I have a feeling that some rules will be broken. I mean, there wouldn't be a movie if they didn't. Luckily, we're in good hands with original writer Chris Columbus and executive producer Steven Spielberg, so you know it's gonna be just as good as the first. That being said, however, the cast is still unconfirmed, and we have no idea who, if any, of the original cast will be returning. Fans are holding out for Zach Galligan, as he starred in the previous 2, but at this point it's all up in the air. And as for Gizmo, the adorable creature turned gremlin, well, according to Columbus, Gizmo may not survive Gremlins 3. He told Slash Film, quote, "I think Gizmo's death is probably a good idea, to be honest. He said too many people are dying. I wonder, isn't that kind of the whole point? Well, I guess we'll see what they have in store for us and those tiny creatures." Coming in at number 7, we have Last Voyage of the Demeter. Based on one single chapter from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel Dracula, the story takes place aboard a Russian sailing boat named Demeter. Chartered to carry 24 unmarked wooden crates from Carpathia to London, the story follows a doomed crew who try to survive aboard the ship while being stalked each night by an eerie and terrifying presence. But who could it be that's haunting them? Could it be Dracula? And to make matters worse, when the ship finally arrives at Whitby Harbor, it's a ghost town, found completely neglected and without a single crew member in sight. Originally set to release in January 27th of 2023, it looks like it's been pushed back to a later release date in the summer, so we'll have to wait a little longer to see who lurks in the shadows on the boat. Next up, coming in at number 6 is The Boogeyman, an adaptation of the iconic short story by horror king himself, Stephen King. This movie has got us all on edge for its release. I mean, how can you not be excited about a Stephen King adaptation? The plot follows a grieving family that is still reeling from the tragic death of their mother. But just when they think things can't get any worse, a teenage girl and her little sister find themselves plagued by a sadistic presence in their house and struggle to get their grieving father to pay attention before it's too late. Set to star Chris Messina, Marin Ireland, David Dastmalchian, Sophie Thatcher, and Vivian Lyra Blair, though it's not yet been released what character the cast will be playing respectively. Coming in at number 5, we have yet another franchise addition, The Nun 2. Directed by Michael Chavez, The Nun 2 will be the 9th installment in the Conjuring franchise. This project has been a long time coming, but was ultimately put on hold due to the pandemic back in 2020. Back in 2017, producer James Wan spoke about the possibility of a sequel to The Nun, stating, quote, "I do know where potentially, if The Nun works out, where The Nun 2 could lead to, and how that ties back to Lorraine's story that we've set up in the first 2 Conjurings, and to make it all come full circle." The Nun 2 is set in France, 1956, and the sequel will follow Sister Irene, played by American Horror Story's Tasia Farmiga, as she once again comes face to face with the demon nun Valak, reprised by the incredible Bonnie Aarons. Fans of the franchise will remember Valak was seemingly defeated at the end of The Nun, though we know this can't be true as she returns in The Conjuring 2 to haunt Lorraine. But the big question is, what kind of crooked and terrifying screams will Valak get into this time? I guess we'll just have to wait until September 8th, 2023 to see who survives. Coming in at number 4 is a really exciting feature directorial debut from Chris Struckman, titled Shelby Oaks. With humble beginnings on Kickstarter, this film quickly rose to the top. Originally posted on March 1st, 2022 with a goal of $250,000, donors blew that out of the water, reaching a total of $1,390,845 with 14,720 backers by just March 25th, making it the #1 most funded project in horror movies on Kickstarter. The story follows Mia, a woman who is trying to investigate the disappearance of her sister, a paranormal investigator who goes missing along with the rest of her group called the Paranormal Paranoids. But as Mia's search continues, she uncovers more twisted and dark evidence related to her sister's disappearance, ultimately leading her to suspect that their imaginary demon from their childhood may have been real all this time. Starring Camille Sullivan as Mia, this horror film combines feature shots as well as elements of found footage and is sure to have us all shaking in our boots soon. Coming in at number 3 is the creepy robot doll thriller we've all been waiting for, Megan. Set to release January 13th, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. It follows the story of an 8-year-old Katie who, after the tragic death of her parents, is sent to live with her aunt Gemma. However, Gemma soon feels overwhelmed by the custody of her niece on top of her robotics career, and so in an effort to help Katie feel less lonely, she decides to gift her her latest creation, an AI friend named Megan, an acronym for Model 3 Generative Android. Gemma tells the robot it is her mission to protect Katie from physical or emotional harm at all costs, and I mean really, what could go wrong with that? The trailer nearly broke the internet within 1 hour of its release, with some calling her a quote yassified Annabelle or a possessed American Girl doll. But one thing is for sure, people are pumped for the new generation doll thriller, starring some incredible actors like Allison Williams from Get Out as Gemma and Violet McGraw from Haunting of Hill House as Katie. I'm already hooked. The role of Megan is split into 2, with Amy Donald playing her on screen while Jenna Davis voicing the character. This sci-fi thriller dives into the compelling and all too relatable fear that our technologies just might turn against us. Coming in at number 2, The Exorcist. While it was rumored for years that this day would never come, it seems Sony has obtained the rights to the original movie source material, and with a blessing from Friedkin, the original creator, it looks like we're in store for a bone-chilling reboot. This reboot will star Ellen Burstyn reprising her role as Chris McNeil from the original series, and she is joined by Leslie Odom Jr. and Ann Dowd. While much of the plot is under wraps, what we do know for sure is that the sequel will follow the father of a demon-possessed child who seeks out Chris for help, knowing she has dealt with similar evils before. Set to release on October 13th, 2023, the perfect release date for a horror movie. I'll be holding my breath until then. And last up in our number 1 spot, from the plot twist master M. Night Shyamalan, we have Knock at the Cabin. This psychological thriller is an adaptation of the 2018 horror novel The Cabin at the End of the World and depicts a simple premise. While on vacation at a cabin, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by a group of 4 strangers. The strangers demand they make a choice in order to avoid and prevent an apocalypse. But as is expected with any Shyamalan standalone movie, I am sure we are in for twist after twist. Slated to premiere February 3rd, 2023, this film has a ragtag cast that I can't wait to see together. Starring Jonathan Groff, famous Broadway actor, Dave Bautista, ex-wrestler, and Rupert Grint from Harry Potter, among other cast members. I am so interested to see how all their characters come together. Well, mark your calendars, horror fans, because if I can tell anything from the trailer, this movie is gonna be unhinged, and I'll be in the front row watching it all unravel the second it comes out. As always, thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, be sure to click the subscribe button below.